Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with great recordings that you never knew existed. Yeah, great recordings you never heard of, whatever this series is called. It's something like that. And, I've been listening to a lot of Brahms lately for some reason. For years, I have to just, confess, which I've confessed this a million times. I never was a Brahms person. I really wasn't, except for the First Symphony, which my mother just adored and really turned me on to when I was little. There's nothing like, vacuuming and dusting while you're listening to Brahms first. It's still, every time I hear it, I smell lemon pledge. But, but the rest of it, there were other pieces. There was Tchaikovsky, there was Pictures at an Exhibition, the music in my childhood. It just seemed it was all more colorful than Brahms was. But gradually I grew up. What can I tell you? Because Brahms is one of those composers who is so rich in solid musical facts and expression of his range, which wasn't as wide as some others, granted, but it's there. That it just took me a while. It took me some time, and one of the reasons, one of the people who helped me more than anyone else to get into Brahms was the Brahms scholar Styra Avens, the cellist and author, who is a Brahms fanatic, and she really understands the music, and talking to her was a real ear opener, actually. So now I think Brahms is just terrific, and particularly when it comes to chamber music. But even the orchestral works I've warmed up to, particularly the piano concertos. I used to like one and not the other, then the other and not the other one. But I could never really enjoy them both. And it seems to me that a lot of artists are rather similar because there are excellent individual performances of both concertos. They are big symphonic works, and we've discussed before just how difficult they are to really make them sound well, to do something that's really, extraordinary in that music. And so there are lots and lots of singleton recordings of both concertos. And this one is kind of amazing, actually. I mean, I've talked about it before, but I think it deserves some special and individual attention. Jed Disler, our piano maven, whose podcast, The Piano Maven, you should all be listening to. Go look for it if you don't know it. Really turned me on to this performance also, because it was a shock. It was a shock to all of us. It's Peter Donohoe with the Philharmonia Orchestra, conducted by Yevgeny Svetlanov, of all people. It's really, you wouldn't expect it. Donohoe, yes, possibly. He's a wonderful pianist. He really is. He's first class. But Svetlanov in Brahms? Svetlanov, who's famous for making raw, edgy, screamy melodia recordings of like Tchaikovsky and Glazunov and all that stuff that has, trumpets like air raid sirens going off and paint peeling strings and screechy, not subtle at all. And this was recorded in, let's see, what's the date? If they can tell me. I can't even see it. As usual with these things, I should stop trying. 1990. I think that's it, right? Yeah, 1990. There it is. And unbelievably, look at this. Can you read that? Go ahead, try. Anyway, it's 1990. So it's really a fabulous performance. Absolutely first rate. And, Svetlanov, for all of his, crudeness as a conductor on Melodia, is really a good guy for this symphony, this concerto, because the opening particularly is just full of surging rage and anger, and you don't want to treat it too tamely. You don't want to be elegant and refined and restrained at the opening. It's an exordium. It's a huge outpouring of volcanic primal energy a la Brahms. I mean, it's not going to be volcanic primal energy like The Rite of Spring or Wagner or one of those people, but it is still about as ferocious as Brahms ever got. And ferocity is not a quality that was lacking in dear Maestro Svetlanov. And Peter Donohoe is a marvel of he's got the range for the piece. he hits the trills and the I mean, it doesn't make it sound like a honky tonk piano. It's really the opening, his entrance in the first movement is wonderfully soulful. I mean, the spiritual qualities of the slow movement are beautifully captured. He doesn't play the finale with, excessive daintiness. It has thrust, and it has part of some of the passion, at least, of the first movement. I mean, yes, it's a rondo. It's more elegant. It's based on the rondo of Beethoven's C minor piano concerto. So, it's very similar in that respect. But it's still got to have a weight. And it does. And so does Svetlanov. He has the weight as well, but it's never sluggish. It's just a fantastic performance of the Brahms First Concerto. It's on Seraphim Classics here. I don't know where it is now. God only knows. But if you see it, or you can download it or stream it, give it a listen. You will be really, really, really pleasantly surprised. Definitely a wonderful recording that you've probably never heard of. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.